that. That's my job. She's there to make sure we got our permits. And
administration needs to open up.
whatever you guys decide as a board, we'll do it. Until told otherwise. Thank you.
I'm going to ask the inspector to wait just for a minute before he leaves, because next up, well, in the next couple of things here, I've got something I'd like you to address with me, if you don't mind. Would you mind coming up here up front?
No.
I wasn't sure I would ever get your name right, so I figured I'd just do it. How do you pronounce your last name?
Justin.
It wasn't as hard as it looked. As we all know, the school has been given $57,000 to do the equipment at the elementary school, the new playground equipment. And there were a whole, I know you've been working with Crystal on this, she's not here, I apologize for that. And she has asked that Mr. Chesley be kind of the point person on this. Now, I have not expressed your concerns about whether, is there any change or an engineer? Okay. So if you want to just, I have no problem personally if you want to run with some of this, not a problem at all. But when you go in for like permits and that's something that you're going to have. I think as you and I talked about, we need to sign off first to kind of an engineer that would do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a list in my head.
No, I understand that.
Whatever I presented, so that's the stuff that we need in order for you to get the permit. So that's to protect the town or potential liability. You need to have an accurate plan, something written on so that shows exactly what's going on. I haven't received it.
Okay. Were you given any of that information?
I did drop some of that off.
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't know what's been dropped on it. If I'll review it, if it's correct, it's correct.
If I may, in the last board meeting, I think Crystal reached out to the building.
Let's go over Crystal in detail.
So one of the things that I think what's unique here is that this is town property.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of volunteers. This project will have a lot of volunteers on it. There's no contractor involved that I'm aware of. The highway department's involved. So the building department, the way we talk about the highway department, building department, the PTO, and the select board, the permits come through us, I guess, or the issue permit. And then you've got the school. And what we really was hoping is that there's a lot of confusion on all these different people or reports. So if we could have a meeting where you, as our building commissioner, and the PTO, and I know Mr. Ledbetter was invited, and should be part of that, and Zach, the highway department, because the highway department's doing work on this project too, and then I know Anthony was, and then Crystal as representative of our board. If all of you can pick a date and time sooner than later to meet, so you can answer some of those questions for them, because it is, you know what I mean? So I want to make, just like you, I want to make sure it's all right.
I've already done that through the email stating what I need in order to go forward. And if you just follow those things that I put on there, I need a workman's comp, that's the road board to decide where that comes from. I need a permit authorization from your board gives me that. I need a plot plan showing where everything is, where it's going. I need possibly engineering. I don't have a clue what's going in there because everything is kind of lacking in information. So if I get all those items, I'm signing it right away, as long as I get them all. We don't need to sit down and discuss it, go through the list that I gave you. Right? Now, if you have specific questions on what each individual item is, I'll be glad to answer them. But we don't need to sit down with 4 or 5 or 6 people and hash it out. It's like, if we went, it's all that. We're going forward. Very simple.
email, I think other people that saw it, it's confusing. And that's why I think conversation, and you just said it yourself, you don't know what they're doing. And that's where collaboration comes into play. And I don't think it's much to ask.
That's what I said in the email, I made a point.
Right.
But that's not hard to understand, is it? I need workers' comp. Your insurance adjuster, you should have a person, you should have. I need permission from the town. That's not hard to understand. Give me a permit filled out, signed by the select board, or the person that's designated.
So basically what you're saying is you just don't want to, you just feel that you don't need to spend any time with
I'm
anyone.
not going here to answer a bunch of questions that I don't have the answers to, right? And when the questions are put to me, I sometimes refer to books, or books, sports and zoning, depending on the situation. I'm not gonna go there and say, I think it might be. I'm gonna answer it by what I did in the email. Here's the code, read the code, here it is, it's right here, follow this. That's where an engineer comes in. I don't advise anyone. I don't plan or design anything. So you need a person that wants to answer those questions, and you pay the money for an engineer to do that. It's a commercial venture. Let's get somebody in there to protect the town.
Let me make a suggestion. We have two representatives from this board that are the liaisons to this project, okay? If we have that information, I would suggest that our two members look it over, decide if there's something in there that they are not familiar with or, need answered or whatnot, and then reach out at that point, right? I know that you sent something over and listed everything that we needed to do.
I gave an email and had a discussion with the person that was designated to be in charge. And both of those things, I spelled out specifically, we need an engineer to approve the plans, to design. I have no idea what it is they're going to do. They just open up some playground stuff down there. It might go here or here, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it needs setbacks, if it's required. There's so many questions that needs to be in writing. We need to protect ourselves. Simple as that.
I agree. I mean, I think the right way. And
That's why
again,
we go through the process.
I understand that, and I think what I guess where I was coming from is that a lot of your questions could be answered just in meeting collaboration. That's all. And from that meeting, all people in mind know who's doing what. You'll know who's doing what. And again, it's a good question. Do we need an engineer? From my understanding, this company. I've done Eagles projects where we install playground equipment. It's not like it's rocket science. But my point is, I think having everybody together in a simple 30-minute meeting so you get a good sense of what they're doing because it is a town project, that's all. And it would help them because, like I say, them as the majority of the people working aren't contractors, they're not engineers. We're average Joe people trying to do a good thing for the community, that's all.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
But we need to do it right. And the way it's done right is through the permit process, with the correct documentation. But it's still on my email. Follow that. Once I receive it, if it's acceptable, we'll go forward. If there's questions on that, if it's halfway acceptable, if there's questions, I will present those questions. To go down there and just all of a sudden have a hat, hop on.
I don't know, I understand. If you came to that
Need
meeting,
it in writing.
Right.
It needs to be in writing.
that's right. If you came to this meeting with your email, bring all the code for those 3 or 4 things that you want clarifications on. Coming to that meeting just with that could make a big difference because then if they had questions, you could answer right there because you have it in front of them. But it's time, it's all time, because you're right. They could send in a bunch of, we could do it this way, send it all in. By the time you get back to this, could be another week, another 2 weeks. Oh, we need these 5 things. I'm just playing devil's advocate, that's all. Just to have a conversation.
What I would like to suggest is this. We have people, like I said, who are liaisons. Let them take a look at this. If they have questions, if they have issues, they'll bring it to the board and we can talk about that. If it's,
What do you mean by the liaison?
Chris.
I've spoken to them.
And I think if there's just a couple of people doing that, and it's one issue, you send it back to Kristen, I'll get back.
That's the way we've had it set up.
And if it's something that can't be resolved
precious time, maybe walk the scene, and so you can answer a few questions. That's your job. That is your
It's
job.
not my job.
It is your job.
It's not.
And
All
that's,
right, let's.
you shouldn't even have a job here anymore.
Let's have.
You know, you should be fired already. You're enough. You really should go. You need to go.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
This community, we don't deserve you. We don't deserve you.
You're right.
We don't deserve you. We do not.
As I said, I do not design, engineer, or plan anything.
I'm so sorry, PTO guys. This is not the way it is. This is not.
I'm
really sorry.
Design, engineer, or plan, because I'm not doing it. We have to do it correctly by the code. We started the process, it's not working, you need this, it's the way all permits work. And so you don't understand how permits and processes work.
Yes.
There's some code.
Yes.
All right, you know what, I'm gonna put this in conversation because we have.
It is.
We have now spun completely out of control. Thank you, we know what the issues are, we'll have somebody take a look at that.
Yes, it is
Get
recorded.
you this information.
Did I already speak with you at one time on the phone? On the phone, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So as far as we're concerned, I know Crystal had asked if you can function in that role, and I'm here.
This gentleman here,
Yeah.
she will clear up again.
I think between.
Well, thank you for doing this.
We can.
That's all we asked in the beginning. That's the only thing we asked in the beginning from you. That was it. That was it. Didn't have to lead to this.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Getting back now
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I think we should just be safe. You know, I'd like to make a motion for the elementary school playground equipment. Is that to designate James, what do I say, Chelsea?
Yes.
As project manager.
I'll second it.
Representative.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Adam's eye.
So do I.
And a lot.
Kelly, aye.
That way, let's see, if Crystal asks or
Yeah,
anybody.
that's fine. Yeah, no, there's no problem with that. Okay, next up, we have rescind the vote to appoint personnel committee members. We have to do this because it has come to our attention that nobody who is collecting a paycheck from the town in any other capacity can be on that committee. So rather than get into that, we've been asked to just rescind the vote. Crystal asked to rescind the vote. And at the town meeting, we'll have to have a bylaw change that gives permission for the purposes. We can do it strictly for the personnel, because you don't wanna, I wouldn't wanna rule out the treasurer and the accountant and folks that, really,
Okay.
but that's what I'm saying. But because you're on the fund, that's why we can't put them on there, so we'd have to have a bylaw change.
I thought there was a difference. When I looked up committee and board, it's pretty much,
Yeah, we did get
I
a
get it.
legal opinion, that's it.
that's what.
So call him something else.
No, I'm not gonna support that.
Well, we need to do something. No.
Okay, well,
I'm saying we have to do something because bottom line is, well, the main target, main goal of this was to do the benchmarking study so we can get that done for the upcoming budget. We've been kicking this can down the road for over a year now. So I don't care if we call it committee, I don't care if we call it board, they're an advisory to the select board, is how I look at it. That's it. It's no difference if Paul and I went and met with the treasurer and the accountant, and we sat down, went through all this stuff, and then, okay, here's what we can come back to the board and say, here's where we're at. That's what I don't understand.
Okay, you know what?
I didn't see a problem with it. We're here to help.
That's right. We're here to.
Okay, so the lawyer said, don't do it, let it go, fix it at the town meeting, but you're suggesting we can go on that advice and just do what we want.
No,
That's what I'm hearing.
How about this? I'd like to see what was sent to the attorney then, because I'll make odds that advisory, we do this all the time. That's why, since I've been here for 2.5 years, we've had all kinds of advisory boards that have come to us, that we ad hoc, whatever you want to call it. I don't see what the issue is. It's not like they're making decisions, and they're gonna bring their recommendations to us, and we're gonna review it, and then see what's what, and go from there.
This isn't advisory, this is the personnel
volunteers, 2 board members, and I think FinCom should be involved. to-
That's
to
the
do
problem.
benchmark.
FinCom cannot be on anything other than FinCom. By our own bylaws.
FinCom attends meetings all the time.
That's, all right. You know what?
They just don't vote.
This is
I
going to
guess
go
it's-
round and round in circles. I never going to come to an agreement.
They
So
don't
I'm
have to
gonna
vote. And that's what I'm saying, there's nothing, we need someone to take on the benchmarking, that's
Okay.
what we need.
All right,
So how do we address that?
I'm not doing anything until I've had a chance to talk to Crystal and see where she is in the process. It's not fair to her to give her the responsibility to do it and then not give her the authority.
I'll make a motion to rescind the vote to appoint personnel committee members.
All in favor?
Adam's aye.
And the lot.
Kelly, aye. Okay, next up, we have adopt farmer's market permit. favor of that?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
And the line.
Kelly, aye, thank you. And we also have the Hitchcock's requesting use of the common for their plant sale, May 10th, 2025 plant sale. Sign 10.
I'll make a motion that we approve the request for the use of the town common for the placement of the plant sale sign, which is scheduled, the plant sale scheduled for May 10, 2025 for the Hitchcock Academy.
All in favor?
We got Central Park antique shows.
I make a motion, we approve the 2025 annual flea market owner operators licenses